Are you tired of your doctor telling you that you need to drink more water? Or are you drinking plenty of water and you're like, how much more can I drink? Hello, I'm right there with you. I'm guilty just like everybody else. In this episode, we're going to have fun with this wet and wild water talk. Stay tuned. Welcome to Renew with Sheri. I'm Sheri Taylor and I will be your host. Did you know that water is the ultimate substance of life? Sometimes we don't realize how much water is in our body. Did you know that our brain has 80 to 85% of water, and our blood is 80% water, and even our lean muscle is 70% water? So are you getting my gist of the importance of water in our body? Our body, the water serves as a function for proper digestion, to help us absorb nutrients, to help us with elimination, to remove toxins from our body. Water is crucial. Not only that, water can be a simple mood enhancer. Why? Because simply if we lose 2%, only 2% of water in our body, like a mild dehydration, not severely dehydrated, but we go outside and we sweat. 2% in water loss can cause memory fog, and it can cause general fatigue. So if you're tired all the time and you feel like I can't keep up because my brain's in a fog, it could be something as simple as I just need to drink some water. Not that you need to run off to the doctor and get a pill for something. Try increasing your water intake. Also, water can suppress our appetite. So it's not like you have to run out and go get a diet pill, go see the diet doctor, and wait for some miracle to happen to keep you from eating too much. How about simply drinking a glass of water before you sit down for a meal and let it settle first to see if you're really hungry and to see if it suppresses so you don't eat as much. Water also aids in boosting our immune system. If you're sick all the time and you're chronically getting colds and you just don't feel well, it could be that you just need to help your body along the way. Get that water replenished back in the body. These simple things, could save us money going to the doctor, could save us the time and effort in getting these prescriptions that have side effects when all we needed to do was get back to the basics and drink. Just drink some water. Now, it's also essential for circulation. How many of you out there have high blood pressure, have high cholesterol, have poor circulation? Maybe your toes, your feet are numb and tingling. Maybe you've got varicose veins. There's lots of different ways that circulation can mess up our body. And by drinking water, you'd be surprised at how you could possibly help yourself with that numbness and tingling, but you could help yourself with your blood pressure. You could help yourself with your cholesterol without pills. I'm not saying this is going to replace the pills. If you're already on medication, that's great. Follow what your doctor tells you to, but it can enhance the effectiveness to get you better faster, and you need to create a habit when you do this. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, how much water do I really need to drink? And we've all heard 8 glasses a day. Well, 8 glasses, is it a little glass? Is it a big glass? What's 8 glasses a day? And really, there's no standard set amount that you should drink. What you need to do is, part of this is getting back to the basics and learning to communicate with your body. Sometimes your thirst is a good indicator that you need to drink more. So with that being said, we also have to be smart about, are we outside in the hot sun and are we sweating? Because 8 glasses may not be enough because we just sweated. Just breathing. If you've got a cold and you're breathing heavier than you normally would, you're actually expelling moisture through your lungs. And so that is another way that we lose water. So if you have a cold, that's why you always want to drink plenty of liquids to help loosen secretions, but also help replace the secretions that you're losing in just everyday breathing. The other thing is if you have a fever, well, the fever is causing your body temperature to rise, causing your metabolism to rise, and you're also utilizing more and more fluid. So that's why they talk about you get dehydrated when you have a fever. There are so many different variables. You could be taking a medicine that causes natural dry mouth. And so some people will not drink water because they think, oh, it's just my medicine causing dry mouth. I'm not really dehydrated. Well, drink it anyway. It's better than just throwing a piece of hard candy in your mouth. Keep drinking. So let your thirst indicator in your body be your first guide as to how much water you really need to drink. Now, one of the other questions that I get asked frequently is, well, can I drink my sweet tea? I'm a good one at that because I love my sweet tea. Can I drink sweet tea because it's made with water? Can I drink coffee because coffee's made with water? It's a two-part question. It's kind of yes and no. Here's the key to this is if your tea has caffeine, if your coffee has caffeine, then guess what the caffeine is? The caffeine is a diuretic, and that means it's going to pull fluid off. Makes us go to the bathroom a lot. You know, a lot of people talk about, oh, I drink my coffee and then I got to go pee. Okay, that's the reason, because it's a diuretic. And so if you're drinking caffeinated drinks, then the answer is no, because you're not getting the water because it's going right back out of your body. It's doing your body a disservice. If you're doing non-caffeinated, that's totally different. But you just have to be careful. The rule of thumb is just drink some water. Just keep it simple and drink water. Now, if you don't like water, here's some little tips. Some people will put fruit in an infuser and put it in a bottle and let the fruit flavors kind of come out to make the water taste better. But if you can just get up and force yourself to drink water first thing in the morning, then we've been sleeping all night and we're getting dehydrated because we haven't had anything to drink. So get up in the morning when you brush your teeth, down a glass of water. Just don't even think about it. Just drink the water. And then throughout the day, make a conscious effort and say, okay, I'm going to go buy a bottled water, or I'm going to go to the water fountain and just take a drink. The more that you do that, your body's actually going to get thirstier. And then once you start creating that habit, then you actually look forward to drinking water, where years ago you might be like, oh, I don't like water. I was totally that person. I was the one that you always saw me carrying a glass of sweet tea around. I liked the sugar and the sweetness. I'm a Southern girl, I love my sweet tea. But when I started eliminating, I had to wean myself down. So I'd do half and half sweet teas. And then slowly, instead of reaching for another glass of sweet tea, I would have to tell myself, okay, let me just go ahead and fill this glass up with water. And let me just gulp it down because I didn't care for it. I wasn't a fan of water unless I was out playing a sport or something and really needed it. But even then, I would grab a Gatorade instead of water because I just wasn't a fan of water. Now that I created that habit, the water is, my body looks forward to it, and I can't wait to get a good, refreshing bottle or glass of cold water. And it's just simply forcing yourself to create a habit. You don't have to take away your old habits yet. Just incorporate a new one. Just a little bit of water every day if you're not a water drinker. Now, if you are a water drinker and you're like, why am I watching this? I don't need to drink water. Okay, you may not, but do me a favor. Whenever you feel like you don't need to drink water, drink one more glass for me. Because you never know if your body's going to say thank you for that. You know, because it's going to help us in so many ways.
See that woman? She's not just someone who can make a Cancun vacation tax deductible. She's a marketer. Sharon uses constant contact email to maintain and build relationships. She sends her clients professional newsletters. And she can see who opens and clicks on them, so she knows what's working. It's not just those fast fingers that keep Sharon's clients flocking back. Sharon's a marketer, and all it took was Constant Contact. Try it free.
Visita provides a complete business calendar, fully integrated with your client scheduling experience. You can view and manage your daily schedule and any upcoming meetings, and most importantly, schedule new appointments and follow-ups with your clients. Using Visita Calendar for client scheduling will save you time and deliver a better service to your clients. Visita Calendar automatically syncs with your existing calendar on Google, Outlook, iPhone, and more.
I would like to take a minute to thank our sponsors. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you again to all of the sponsors for BizLinks TV and for supporting Renew with Sheri. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you would like to see on the episodes, feel free to email me at Sheri at renewwithsheri.com. And if you would just like to visit the website, then go to renewwithsheri.com, and you can reach me either way. And I would love to hear questions, comments. If you need anything, please let me know. Again, as I've said before, if it's a simple kick in the pants or pray with me or just let me vent to you, that's what I'm here for, and I definitely would love to hear from you. So getting back to the water, I talked a little bit about coffee and tea and should I drink that and count it as water or not. So let's take it a step further and let's look at just what if I go buy flavored water, sparkling water at the store? Is that okay, and can I count that for my water intake? So number one rule, if it's water, just regular water, you're good. Yes, you can count that. If it is sparkling water, though, you have to look at the fact that sometimes carbonation will cause stomach bloating. It can aggravate ulcers because it's got an acidity going on with it. So if you naturally can't handle that, like with sodas and stuff, if that bothers you, it might not be a good idea to get a sparkling water. The other thing you have to be very conscientious of is that sparkling water flavored? And how is it flavored? Is it sweet? Does it have an artificial sweetener? Because artificial sweeteners are going to be err on the side of caution. I'm going to tell you to get away from them altogether because artificial sweeteners can cause bloating. They can cause you to retain fluids, and they are fake sugars that are not healthy. Anything that's man-made or man-altered is not good for you. So you want to get back to the all-natural, which is what I was talking about with the fruits. Putting some fruit in your water and just letting it sit and infuse so you get the essence of fruit and maybe a little sweetness from the fruit, but it's a natural sugar instead of an artificial. Now with artificial sweeteners, I'm going to get into that a little bit more in depth, but artificial sweeteners can be linked to causing depression. It can be linked to having sleep problems like insomnia. It can lead to neurological problems. And so really, if you can get yourself away from those artificial sweeteners, do so. So you've got to be proactive for yourself, and you've got to read the labels. So if you do like carbonated drinks and you do want a good sparkling water, then I would suggest look at something like LaCroix. LaCroix has no sugar at all. Now, sometimes when I drink it, it's like, oh, it just tastes like water with an essence of fruit. That's all. So I can do that at home without spending the money on the product, but they do have good products and variations of flavors. So that's my go-to when I go to the grocery store. But even the generic brands in the grocery store, they're good too, as long as you're watching your labels and you're not getting the ones with artificial sweeteners in it. So be careful when you're saying, oh, I'm getting my water in. Yeah, what kind of water are you really getting? Again, it goes back to just get you some regular water and just drink it fast and then go on your merry way. Now, let's talk about the awful sodas. Sodas are bad. All the way around, sodas are bad. They're not good for you. Nobody can convince me that they're ever going to be good for you. And you got to be careful. So let's talk about what soft drinks are doing. Soft drinks steal water from your body. Whether it's diet soft drinks or regular soft drinks, they're taking water from your body. Not only that, I don't care what you tell me, it doesn't quench your thirst. When you drink a can of Coke, as we say down here in the South, pop, whatever, however you say it, when you drink a can, guess what you do? You go get another one. Or you get the biggest one with a lot of ice and you make it last. And it's not quenching your thirst. You think it is at first, but it's actually it's enticing and manipulating your brain to go have that addiction and get another one. That's what it's doing. And, with the sugars in it, the sugars are a whole nother show in itself. But it also elevates what we call phosphates in your body. Phosphates, they rob your body of essential minerals and nutrients. So I could have eaten the healthiest meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter, and gotten some great vitamins and minerals from green leafy vegetables, or even taking my vitamins in the morning. And guess what? I drink a soda and those phosphates come in and say, nope, you can't have that. And it takes those nutrients away from you. And so everything that you just did proactive for your body, you just wiped it out. It doesn't even count because your body's not going to use those minerals because the phosphates attacked it, kind of like Pac-Man, okay? So if I'm not hitting on a nerve and you're going, well, dang, so I'm counteracting everything I'm doing. What we have to do is, I'm not going to tell you just cold turkey your Cokes. I'm not going to tell you to do that. But what I'm going to tell you to do is let's be proactive and let's take up some of the time that you would be drinking a Coke and replace it with something else. So you still have the drinking habit of the Coke, but instead let's drink a water. Even if it's 4 ounces of water, it's better than 4 ounces of Coke. So if you do 8 Cokes a day, how about let's cut that down to 6 Cokes a day, and 2 of them are going to be replaced with water. Guess what? You can pat yourself on the back because you had the best of both worlds. You're not where you need to be, but you're moving in a productive way to where you know that you did something good. Even though it was minimal, if you did that every day, guess what? You're creating a habit, and you're replacing it with a good habit. Okay? So keep following me here. Now, soft drinks. If you've not seen commercials, I've seen them, where people, especially on Facebook or YouTube, people take a Coca-Cola and they pour it on a battery to eat away battery acid. What the heck is it doing in your stomach? I can't even imagine. If you have ulcers, you just fed that ulcer, and then you want to lay around going, oh, my belly hurts. Well, I wonder why. You just fed it corrosive acid. I mean, this is crazy. If you're going to be able to use that as a household cleaning item, that would be like me telling you, why don't you just go drink some ammonia? Why don't you just go drink some bleach? Because that's what you're doing. Oh, but they flavored it to make it taste good. All right, now, I'm sorry, who's the dummy now? Okay, we need to rethink this. Yeah, it was a great idea years ago. I remember going to the Coke machines and popping open a bottle, the glass bottles, the old-fashioned machines. We put peanuts in our Coke and we'd drink it. It was the greatest thing in the world when our grandparents would let us get a 25-cent bottle of Coke. I might be telling my age here, but anyway, you get my drift. I loved them just as much as anybody else did. And then when Dr. Pepper came out, I was like, oh, yeah, this is good. Root beer, A&W. I'm with you. I'm not saying that I'm better than you, that I don't do that, because I did do that. And I'm not saying that I'm not enticed to do it again. And if that's the only thing to drink and there's no water around, will I grab one? Sure, I will. But I'm going to do it in moderation because I know that it's not good for me. But psychologically, what's cool too is you don't tell yourself you can't have something, because the more you tell yourself that you can't have something, the more you want it. It's understanding and appreciating you and knowing that that's not in your best interest to be healthier. And how much do you love yourself to want to make minor adjustments and then create these habits, and then it'll be major adjustments, but you don't know that it's happening. When you create these habits, it's like the easiest change in the world, because I didn't tell myself I couldn't have it. I still had what I wanted, but I just started shifting. And as I shifted, once I got to that point where I was drinking more water than I was Cokes, I was like, oh, yeah, pat me on the back. I'm doing awesome. And then I didn't want to go back, and I felt guilty if I started putting a Coke to my mouth. I was like, oh, no, I can't do this. I've come so far to slide backwards. And so it kept reminding me. And then as I felt better, I wasn't sluggish, didn't have that brain fog. My immune system was better. I was able to feel like my skin was looking better because having water in your cells plumped it up. So I started looking younger. That's always a good thing, right? So all these good things were outweighing the good of what I liked about the Coke. So I was able to really go over time. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, so please don't think it's going to be an instant thing. Still back to the Cokes. I know I get off on these tangents, but I like telling you stories because you'll remember them, and then you'll have your own story that you can share with somebody else, because I'm sure you have family members that as you get going on your journey and you see that it's working, your heart's going to tell you, I need to help somebody else. And your stories are what's going to help get somebody else motivated. So you better be building a story and get ready to share, because think of all the people that you can touch as you're going on your own journey. So poor digestion is another thing that I want to talk about. That acid in your body from the Cokes is going to create more acid production in the stomach. Food is not going to break down as easy, and when it does, it causes complications. It causes pain, bloating, irritability. Okay, it's not a good feeling. And then also, when we go to eat, the stomach fills up, and if we're not digesting that food, and then we go to eat our next meal, we're packing more food on top, and then our metabolism is slowing down because it's just getting tired and can't digest the food. And so we need to make sure that we aid in digestion, so whatever we eat at breakfast is gone by lunch, that we're not doubling up. And when we double up, guess what? Our body stores that food, stores it. When it digests, it saves it as fat because it's tired. It doesn't know what else to do with it. And it's like, oh, let's just move it over here. Let's shove it in the belly. Let's shove it in the back, wherever. It stores the fat. We need to keep that metabolism going. So Coca-Colas are not the way to do it. Water is. Now, I talked a little bit about sugars. What the sugars do is anytime you eat sugar, you have a spike in insulin. That's your body's reaction to go break down the glucose and the carbohydrates. And so when you have insulin spikes, so let's say I drink a sugary can of Coke, within an hour or so, guess what? I start spiking in sugar. Insulin kicks in and it lowers my sugar. Well, when it lowers, I have a crash. That's where I feel tired. I have a brain fog. I want to take a nap because my insulin, it helped with the glucose for sure. It broke it down and it dropped. So now what do I need? Another Coke to pump me back up along with the caffeine because I'm tired. It's a vicious cycle. When you're drinking water, you're not going to have the spikes in sugars or insulin. So guess what? If you're a diabetic, you're going to stabilize a little bit more, and it's much more healthier. So I'm sure I probably got people on here watching saying, okay, Sheri, but I do diet sodas. Well, this goes back to the diet sugars in the water. The artificial sugars, not good, okay? The artificial sugars are man-manipulated. They're not natural sugars, and you don't need them. There's too many bad side effects over long-term periods of use with that product. Did you know that with artificial sweeteners, it causes an increase of aluminum in our body? Our body naturally has aluminum, so no, I'm not talking about going out and eating a piece of metal, but our body naturally has that mineral in it. But it increases when we drink artificial sweeteners. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, what it means is increased aluminum in the body has been linked to Alzheimer's. When they've done autopsies on Alzheimer's, they have seen that increased aluminum. So if we know that that's occurring, why would we feed our body? I'm sorry. I want to have my brain as long as I can, and I want to know where I'm at. If I end up getting Alzheimer's or dementia, okay, that's fine. But why do I want to enhance it? And increasing aluminum in my body, there is scientific evidence that it's linked. I'm sorry, no, I'm going to try and keep my brain around as long as I can. I want to remember stuff as long as I can. And so if you've got a family member that's Alzheimer's or dementia, and you're bringing them Coca-Colas every day when they're in the nursing home or assisted living, stop it. Just stop it right now. You're not helping them. Okay? And then also prolonging illness. When we're doing Cokes or artificial sweeteners, that is also robbing us. Remember I said it was robbing us of those minerals. Well, those minerals help us with our immune system and help boost it. So if you are a person that gets sick a lot and you get around people and you get colds all the time, you might be thinking about what's my dietary intake? Is it escalating the problem? And how I came to realize this was because I'd had cancer 4 times, I was always like, oh, don't get around me if you're sick because my immune system's low because I had cancer. Well, no, my immune system was low because I was fat. I had high cholesterol, I had diabetes, I was eating the wrong foods, robbing my body of nutrients. I was giving my body all the sugar it wanted, all the fake sugars it wanted, and I was just robbing my immune system. When I started making dietary changes, I started drinking the water, started cutting back on my teas, my Cokes, guess what? I don't get sick. And even though I've had cancer 4 times, I'm not scared to get around sick people anymore because I know that I've been proactive in boosting my immune system. So these are some things I hope that I have encouraged you enough to at least Google and do your research about Cokes and teas and coffee to see that what I'm telling you is it all boils down to get back to just plain water. And whether you like it or not, just do it. So my motto for you today is just shut up and drink. Thank you for watching. I look forward to hearing from you on how you deal with the tips that we shared with you today on increasing your water intake. If you're already on this journey, or if you're just new to this journey, feel free to email me. I want to hear your story on how you're doing, what you're doing to get started. So email me. It's Sheri, Sheri, at renewwithsheri.com. And also, I want you to tune in to the next episode as we continue to renew you.